I'm joined now by an ambassador of a pioneering group of young people, One Young World, dedicated to creating positive change. Chiara Palieri is an advocate of women in leadership as well as youth activism, hoping that we'll be joined by a chap out of Portugal tonight as well. But Chiara, let's just start. When you read the OECD's report today, which says the European crisis is liable to knock the world economy back, do you, like me, think, I've heard this all before and I've been listening to this for 3 years? How do you think officials have coped with this current European economic crisis?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me on the show. And I have to say that I'm proudly representing One Young World today with Joao. What I want to get straight first is that this economic crisis is majorly about money, but it's even more about taking out dignity from people. And I speak on the behalf of young people from Italy. What I've seen today is a scary portrait of the future. I don't feel very positive about the prospects as a young graduate. I don't feel very empowered to think about the best. So I think leaders really need to restructure the whole policy making of education and youth employment, because at the time being, it's absolutely a failure.
Fascinating to listen to what you're saying. We've seen the rise of people power across Europe as citizens turn away from their sort of old-fashioned mainstream political status quo, as it were. Do you, like many other people across Europe, believe that it's time for change? It's time for a different narrative? And if so, what would your narrative be?
The narrative would be we demand, as a Generation Y, a strong revolutionary restructure of the institutional framework, a societal commitment to empower young people, not to be only today's employees, but more importantly, to be tomorrow's leaders. At the time being, I think people in Europe are very much discouraged to think about future prospects. And so this is what we demand, is a societal commitment, and most importantly, a European response to this huge crisis.
Do you think the gap between policymakers and the people is growing?
It's absolutely widening, definitely. And it's also about the capability expectation gap of the European Union with regards to young people, I guess. I believe that the gap is widening as the results keep on decreasing. And I'm not only talking about economy, but I'm really talking about the way institutions foster young people in their quest to grow as academics or as employees. I think it's widening, and I don't really see from the Italian side a big commitment to change.
You belong to a group of youngsters, and when I use the word us grown-ups, I only used it because one of your colleagues, Joao, actually referred to me as one of those earlier on. So I could use the word oldie or whatever. Quite frankly, you belong to a group of youngsters who are representative of most countries around the world. And when you get together, and when you're at college with mates there in Scotland at present, does it concern you that many people of your age feel the need to leave their own countries, find prosperity, work, education, a life elsewhere? And if so, what do you think should be done about that?
I guess at the time being, I'm myself, I'm the result of immigrants. I'm Italian, but I'm currently based in the UK. And I guess this desire to migrate to find better opportunities is somehow an egoistic choice, but at the same time, it's a good way to empower the country once we will be back. To restructure the whole framework. I think it's important to create this concept of transnational leadership, which is what One Young World does, and it's working together, coming from different backgrounds, and trying to create new synergies for the future.
Fascinating. Chiara, I'm going to leave it there. We thank you very much indeed for joining us. The view of one youngster this evening on what is, let's just call it a mess, shall we, across Europe.